Welcome to the underground, you rebel scum. This is the American Expat, and I am out here again in the Ogden Valley by, this Pineview Reservoir here to talk about some crazy stuff. Again, what are we, like 2 days from the election? Now I'm starting to hear the stuff from the late night talk show hosts about why election night was such a terrible night. And oh my gosh! Again, I just want to scream at people and say, what are you talking about? What, is your brain turned off or something? Or is it on purpose? I don't know. I think they're lying on purpose for some reason. But we'll get into that here in a second. Ha! Thanks for sticking with us. I don't actually have any caffeine with me. I drank it all in the car before I got here. So hopefully you've had something. You're doing well. I don't know what time of the day you watch this or listen to this, but grab a drink, whether caffeinated or not caffeinated, something, your favorite snack, whatever, and let's get into this. Wait a second. Before I get too far, I think we need to grow this channel, and the only way that's going to happen is if you share this with your friends. If you enjoy this, even if you just enjoy making fun of it, hey, maybe your friends would too. So think about sharing it. And also don't forget the like button lives down below the video, so you can go down there and click on that too. Now for this, I have made a list. This is from Jimmy Kimmel, who had a few things to say about election night that I thought were so outrageous, I couldn't help myself but to make a video responding to it. Of course, he's never going to hear this, but all of you might wonder what it is that Jimmy Kimmel, do you still watch late night TV? I remember I used to watch late night TV. As a kid, I used to, like you turn on, well, not as a kid, but my dad would always be watching like Jay Leno or something. There was David Letterman. They'd tell jokes. When I got older, it's nice at night. You turn it on before you're going to sleep, have a little bit of a laugh, and then that's it. I haven't watched late night television in years. It's just gotten so propagandistic. Is that how you call it? Oh, man. Or maybe it was just because I went to China and, well, I stopped caring about any of that because I couldn't watch it. But in either case, I have returned to the United States and have been here for years, and I still don't watch it, and I think this is why. So, as I was saying, Jimmy Kimmel said it was a terrible night, the election, for women and children. I've got a list, so I'll go through this a little bit at a time. Women and children. How many of you have been hearing about the border situation? That border crisis? And you keep hearing about human trafficking, and they've got the signs every time you go to a rest area. If you're traveling on the road, they've got like the little sign with the number to call if you're a victim of human trafficking or suspect there's someone that's a victim of human trafficking. Those are women and children, and they're being trafficked and sold to people. How is, the guy that's going to go and fix the border, that's the one that's, wow, what a terrible night for women and children. They're not going to be, it's not going to be as easy to traffic them anymore. Gall darn, I don't know. Jimmy Kimmel, wake up, what are you talking about? Is your brain turned off? Is there something wrong with you? Or did somebody feed you this line to tell people? How is it they lost and they're still doing the whole anyway, yeah, women and children. Healthcare. This is bad for healthcare. How? Now, a lot of you, if you're younger, you probably don't know or remember the time before the Affordable Care Act. Let me tell you, I used to pay maybe like $40 a month for my insurance at work. I'm sure that my job paid some, but I had, just like a $20 copay, and it was really easy to go to the doctor, no problem. I wasn't worried about paying exorbitant fees and stuff to go see a doctor for something simple, or even to go to the hospital. I knew exactly what it was, and it wasn't bad. I could afford it. Well, the Affordable Care Act comes along, and the government's like, well, we're going to subsidize. We're going to pay this much money toward health insurance premiums. Well, guess what the health insurance companies did? They're like, well, if the government's going to pay for it, then we'll just charge a lot more money. So now you try to go and get health insurance today. Many people, you'd have to work, and that would be the only thing you would be doing. You're working just so you can cover the health insurance. That's not good. I mean, I don't know why we haven't gotten rid of that yet, but it drives me insane. I mean, the premiums went through the roof and it covers less. It's worse. It's worse by far. How is this bad for healthcare? I don't know. I kind of look at it as good. I don't even know that Donald Trump is going to do anything about that. He said he had like a plan of a plan, or a plan to make a plan, or something like that. So I don't know that this is really going to do anything in either direction when it comes to healthcare. But I can tell you where the bad came from. It was a lot better before, believe me. I don't know how so many people have just forgotten. Like they've just turned their brain off, like I said in the last video. How do you do that? We all live in the same reality. How is it that you don't see this? Okay, let me pull out my list. We'll go on to the next point that he made. So healthcare, we got women and children. Science! You know, I remember when I was in school, I learned that science was a process, the scientific method, whereby you could, investigate things in our physical world, our reality, to figure out if it was true or not. You make an observation and you say, I think that the reason that rock falls is there's a force that's pulling it down, and it acts equally on everything. Gravity. I'm not going to go into an experiment about gravity, but it was all about asking questions. Now they tell you, no, science is just trusting the experts. And yeah, sure, I trust experts, sure. But you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like religion. That sounds like they're telling you, it's like the guy that comes along and says, hey, I am the guy that God speaks to. And you just do what I say because God is telling you. Just need to trust me because I'm the expert about what God says. And we're all going to go to this spaceship behind the comet. Now you have to trust me because God is talking to me. He doesn't talk to you. You can't talk to God. You can't figure that out on your own. We're going to go up to the spaceship behind the comet anyway. Yeah, that's nonsense. That's religious talk. Science is where you can make observations and come to conclusions on your own. And if somebody has a good argument, they're an expert, they'll be able to explain it. And you'll say, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I can see where you came to that conclusion. That's science, not this trust the experts because and don't ever look at anything yourself. Don't ever read anything. You just trust what they say because they're your religious masters in science. Yeah, this has been the worst thing for science ever. All these people just falling in line, nobody questioning anything. That's insanity. That's religious thinking. Which, whatever you want to do with that. Journalism. Yes, it was a terrible night for journalism because we haven't had any real journalism over the last, I don't know how long since something changed. I'd love to see an honest, investigative journalism story. I'd love to read it and see somebody expose some horrible corruption or something, but they don't do that. Journalism died a long time ago. I don't know what this is great for journalism. Maybe we can actually get it back and have real journalists instead of whatever this nonsense is, where they just... When I lived in China, the news is just like it is here in China because they speak for the government, Propaganda. That's supposed to be bad. That's like Nazi stuff, which they like to call the people that voted for Donald Trump Nazis, which, again, I find that point really confusing. I thought that the Nazis were the ones that hated Jewish people. Now the people that hate Jewish people are the ones that are calling everybody else. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. The ones that are all about exterminating portions of the population, kind of like the people that are all about abortion and all of that all the time. Yeah, well, those people don't have money. They're just going to grow up to be a problem for society. We need to get rid of them to make room for it's horrible, the things. I'm sorry if I'm saying stuff that bothers people. You'll have to let me know in the comments if I go too far, but I'm going there anyway. Okay, let me look at my notes. What else did he say? Justice and free speech. Oh, this is one that really gets under my skin. So if you've been following the channel long enough, you know that I lived in China. And in China, I had to be careful what I said because they don't have free speech. And I was living in the place so there wasn't free speech. And I dreamed of the day I would come back to the United States and then I would be free to speak my mind on the internet without any restrictions. So I come back to the United States and then they tried to shut me down. I read somebody's comment that somebody left on video, and it had something in it, I guess, that YouTube and Google and the government didn't like, and they tried to shut me down. I tried to tell them, look, that's not me. I wasn't the one saying it. I was just reading the comment. Free speech? Are you serious? Justice? Look what they did to the Donald Trump. One of the reasons, a major reason that he won, is because of the ridiculousness of constantly going after him, a political opponent, using the Justice Department, using, all kinds of lawfare. People saw through it, and that was it. Bad day for justice and free speech. Hey, I'm hoping that I can actually speak my mind on the internet, and somebody's not going to put their thumb on the scale and mess me up. It still happens, but What can you do? That drives me crazy. I came back to the United States and got censored more here than I ever did in China. That's crazy, isn't it? Let's see. It was a bad day for poor people. Bad night for poor people. Are you insane? Are you serious? I mean, I understand that there seems to be some kind of a disconnect where people at the top don't realize how bad the economy is. You're sitting there going to the grocery store and you can't afford to buy normal food. And you're like, hey, I can't afford, good food. I'm starting to get sick from the kind of food that I have to eat. And they're spitting in your face. Oh, are you kidding me? Have you seen the stock market? It's higher than ever. And you're like, well, I don't care about the stock market. I care about the price of milk. That's the only market that I care about is the supermarket, and I can't afford that. I definitely can't afford to be on the stock market. So who cares what it's doing? Yeah, the economy has been bad. It's been horrible for poor people. And I feel like poor people are getting tired of just having working class people. Who's sick of this? I'm sick of this. The only place you can go is to work at Kroger. You have to be a cashier now or work at a fast food place. That's what's left for people at the bottom. It used to be that you could go work in a factory. You could have a decent wage as a person in the working class. And under these jackals, you've lost everything. All that's left is fast food and cashier jobs, retail. Give me a break. Come on. Open your eyes. Take your hands off your ears or whatever it is. Turn your brain back on because the things have been horrible for poor people. You gave all their jobs away. And now maybe there's a chance that they're going to come back. I know they try to scare you and say, everything will be so expensive. It's already too expensive. Hey, if the stuff at the manufacturing comes back, I might actually be able to get a job where it won't matter. I'll be able to afford it. Okay, there's one more thing. Let me see what it is. Ukraine. Yeah, this is real bad for Ukraine. I feel like this is the one chance of hope for peace that they have. I mean, if there's anybody left to enjoy the peace in Ukraine, the place has been being bombed and, the war's been happening there for years now. We don't get to see it a lot, but everything that we've been told, a lot of people have died. What's wrong with peace? I hope that we get peace. Maybe the war will end, I'm sure that some of the dictators like Putin are probably like, oh man, well, it's time to start pulling everything back. Donald Trump is coming back and real American power to stop us. Yeah, that's real bad for Ukraine. I would like to think that maybe we can save some of the people that are left, so that maybe there'll be something left of their country to go back to. Just my thoughts. So that's my rant about these late night talk show hosts. I hope that life can go back to normal at some point. Now let's see if we can get to some of your comments. I have moved in out of the cold for that purpose. Let me see. They have changed something on the app, so some of them might be in different places. Oh, it just refreshed. Okay. Here we go on the last video from Bill Bennington. Nothing bad ever happens. Yeah. Well, I wish I could say that I agreed with that. Sometimes bad things happen. Sometimes they do. If you were against Donald Trump, well, I guess in your mind, maybe something bad has happened. I'm of the opinion that it's going to turn out quite well for you. Even if you don't like Donald Trump, this is going to be good in some way. So, yeah. Let's see, from driving from Brigham City to Logan, the other video I made, driving on the road. Who wants to play video games? This is from Medieval Sailor. The other one was from Bill Bennington, if I forgot to mention that. Who wants to play video games when there are roads like these? Tell me about it. Occasionally, while driving on some roads, I will suddenly realize, hey, I feel like I've been here before, and I'll realize they are in a video game. Except that I am then on the real road. I think something like that happened when I was driving around in Switzerland at some point. Yeah, there are some beautiful roads to drive on, whether you like the beauty or just the challenge of driving a sports car on a winding, crazy mountain road. It can be a lot of fun, just like on a video game. And from yesterday's video again, Andy Foxy, always glad to hear from old friends. He's over there in Hong Kong. Been having a good time watching leftist reaction on the internet. Yeah, there's been a lot of people who have made themselves famous, not for good reasons, by having freak-out sessions over the election. To be honest, I would love it if it went back to the way it used to be, where people didn't really care. I mean, it'd be like a sports team. Sure, you know, you get excited about it, but you're not going to, like, end your life or something over... Well, yeah, let's go back a little bit there. You're not going to... And, you know, it's not the end of the world if your team loses. I mean, life goes on, right? And here again from an old friend, Scottish content creators, Uncle Trump won big time. You're free to speak now. I've been watching this whole election process, and it has been extraordinary. I've never seen anything like it. On the subject of photography, this election produced an image that goes down in history. I think you know the one. Fight, the image of Trump after being shot in the ear. There was an interview with a woman in Philadelphia a few weeks ago, and she said something that made me think about things. She asked, "What kind of country do you have if it has no borders? You don't have a country without them. Trump may not be perfect, but your alternative was not up to the job. The sitting president is also a bit of an embarrassment, and honestly, it makes me sad to see him deteriorating to the point he doesn't know what day it is. I'm glad America has chosen a different path. And Jay, you're correct. You're correct. This does affect people around the world, all of us. Maybe we can see a bit of peace now, Paul." Hey, you know, there's so many things that you said there that... I saw Kamala Harris's speech that she gave after she conceded. She didn't look like she was upset. I kind of got the feeling like it was a bit of a relief. Maybe she didn't want the job in the first place. We're all saying that she's not qualified. Maybe she didn't feel qualified either, and now she doesn't have to worry about it. That image of Donald Trump raising his fist, that is an incredible image. And I think I should get a t-shirt of that. Awesome picture. Well, that was taken by a professional. That wouldn't work. I could get his mugshot and have that on a t-shirt. There's probably plenty of people that do. But, yeah, incredible stuff. The border thing, absolutely. This is look at what's happening in Europe right now. Look at what's happening here in the United States. If you don't have borders, anybody can come in. Anybody. We want people to come in. We just want them to be people that are there to, do good things and to help out the country, that want to be part of something, not to take from something. Yeah, he's not perfect, Trump, but hey, nobody is. Let's see, from Southern Boy Prepper, another friend. What an absolute amazing video. One of the best from you. You were on point through the entire video. Thank you, and talk to you soon, my friend. Looking forward to it. I'm glad you guys thought so. It's been a little while since I've made any kind of commentary video because, well, YouTube doesn't like them, and they haven't in the past. And now I'm feeling like, well, you know what? They don't seem to like anything that I do, so I could make whatever, and it's still never going to have any traction, so what the hell? I might as well just do this. None you Texas on the back 20. Hey, Jay. Glad to see you there. Another friend. Terry Maddox, hello. Glad to see you as well. Again, all these old friends coming along. I see everybody wishing us, being glad that we've made it back safely. Yeah, the road. I've spent a lot of time out on the road, driving here and going there and flying there and here, and it sure gets miserable sometimes. I had this comment referring to Texas from Bill Bennington. Get an oil job in Texas. It takes a man to do a man's job, but if Texas can't turn you into a man, then who can? You know, those oil jobs, I used to know a lot of people that worked in the oil industry. And yeah, you can, with very little skill, you can get paid a lot of money to do those jobs. I know we were talking about Kroger and that sort of thing, and with the oil industry being, well, put under strain by the current administration, maybe some of those people have been frustrated, but yeah, you can make a lot of money. It used to be, if you were in school, they'd always say, like, you want to be an engineer, become a petroleum engineer, you'll be making $80,000 right out of school. That's hard to do, There's not a lot of places you can do that. But in the petroleum industry, absolutely. The world still runs on oil. Even if you have electric cars, they still need oil. There's a lot of parts in there that are made of plastics and different types of petrochemical elements that go into that. We're always probably going to need oil to some degree or another. Even if they get rid of gasoline-powered cars, it's in everything. It's in the camera that I'm recording this with. It's in the car that I'm sitting in. It's in my clothes. It's in everything. Your cell phone, the whole modern world. So, gotta have it. And I'm going to leave it at that with the comments. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to leave your comments. And Share it with your friends. I'll see you guys in the next one.
ไปพะวงหลงเฝ้าสาวเจ้าบางประกงทางไว้งงหลงเกอหาโอเวรกรรมจำพรากจากไปไกลตา